Have you ever thought about how some stars shine so brightly, only to fade away far too soon? These were talented people, admired by the world, yet they quietly left us due to a devastating illness: AIDS. This disease haunted the 80s and 90s, not only ravaging physical health, but also weighing heavily on the minds of millions, especially in the LGBTQ+ community. Public figures, icons like Freddie Mercury, the legendary voice of Queen, or Rock Hudson, the famous film star, couldn't escape this tragic fate. They lived under the spotlight but endured stigma, whispers, and often lonely last moments as life gradually slipped away. They fought, every day, every hour, only to face the heartbreaking end brought on by this cruel disease. It's so painful to think about, yet their losses sparked a societal awakening, pushing for awareness and demanding justice. They were stars that burned out, but will forever shine in the hearts of those who truly understand and appreciate them. In today's video, we'll remember 30 gay celebrities who lost their lives to AIDS, leaving the world heartbroken. 1. Larry Kert. Imagine a Broadway stage bathed in dazzling lights, hundreds of audience members holding their breath, all eyes on one person: Larry Kert, the gifted artist from West Side Story. Young Larry, with his powerful voice and fiery eyes, made history portraying Tony, his most famous role. It was 1957, and his debut performance became a phenomenon, making him a celebrated name in American musical theater. Even the toughest critics couldn't deny Larry's magnetism. A laugh, a small gesture, and he had everyone's heart. But behind the spotlight, did anyone know the invisible pains Larry was enduring? Larry Kert was born on December 5, 1930 in Los Angeles, California. He was among the few who openly acknowledged his homosexuality, a rare act at that time. Since the 1960s, he lived openly, without hiding or running away. Despite the prejudice of society, Larry marched on, becoming an icon not only of talent, but of courage. Yet, those years of dedication took their toll, and by the 1980s, when AIDS loomed over the LGBTQ+ community, Larry couldn't escape his fate. It's said that Larry contracted the virus from a close friend, also a well-known artist. Rumors circulated that this friend hid his condition, trapping Larry in the grip of this haunting illness. But whether true or baseless gossip, the undeniable fact is that Larry had to battle the disease alone. In his final years, he lived in pain, frailty, and solitude. Still, Larry never let fear take over. He continued performing, continued giving, as if nothing could defeat him. The audience had no idea of his health condition until he gradually weakened, day by day. In June 1991, Larry Kert passed away. His funeral was not only a farewell to a gifted artist, but a painful reminder of the price of fame and truth. Broadway lost his laughter, his fiery eyes, and his enchanting voice. He left, but the memory of him remains forever in the hearts of fans, like a candle that has gone out but still glows in memory. Larry Kert faced both himself and the world with courage. He was someone whose life was a series of lessons on love and ambition, a testament to the silent pain behind the stage lights, a legend not only in theater but also in the hearts of his fans. 2. Merritt Butrick. Next on our list is Merritt Butrick. Just mentioning his name brings any Star Trek fan to a quiet pause. He played David Marcus, the son of the legendary Captain Kirk, bringing a different soul to this iconic series. But behind the glamour and his outstanding role lies a tragic story few know about. A story not only of a talented actor, but also of a life cut short, marked by struggles, pain, and haunting rumors. Merritt Butrick was born on September 3, 1954 in California. In 1982, he joined the Star Trek universe as David Marcus in Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. His debut on the big screen left an indelible mark with his expressive eyes and perfect portrayal. That role catapulted him into fame. His career was on the rise, and in 1984, he returned as David Marcus in Star Trek III: The Search for Spock. These two films showcased his remarkable acting skills. But just as his life began to soar, darkness crept in. By the late 80s, Merritt was diagnosed with what was then the terrifying mystery of HIV/AIDS. The rumors spread across Hollywood, with some saying he contracted it from a secret lover, a figure he kept hidden all his life. But whatever the truth may be, this frightening reality forced Merritt to face death at just 29. His final years were spent in isolation, without family, without care. Fans had no idea that behind his captivating smile was a frail body and a spirit growing weaker from this terrible disease. In March 1989, news of Merritt Butrick's death shook the entertainment world. He passed quietly, without a final goodbye. Shocked and saddened, people asked themselves, how could a talented actor like him fade so quickly? Merritt left behind unfinished roles and millions of stunned, grieving fans. Those who had once adored him, who had followed his every step on screen, now have only the painful memory of a once bright star that faded too soon. 3. Robert Reed. From a star of science fiction, let's shift to a star of everyday life. Robert Reed, the man who perfectly embodied America's father figure on The Brady Bunch, led a far more complex life than the cheerful image he portrayed on screen. Born on October 19, 1932, in Highland Park, Illinois, Robert, originally John Robert Reitz Jr., grew up in an ordinary family, yet filled with encouragement for his passions. In the 1950s, Robert began his artistic journey on the stage at Northwestern University, where he fell in love with classical theater and honed his talent. After graduating in 1954, he moved to London to study at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art. This period shaped a unique acting style, preparing him for the career that would later touch millions of American hearts. In 1961, after years of small roles on stage and television, Robert Reed started to gain recognition in Hollywood. His career took off with the Defender series from 1961 to 1965. However, his real breakthrough came in 1969 when he was cast as Mike Brady in The Brady Bunch. This role turned Reed into America's dad, the symbol of an ideal family. But there was a secret, a burden he hid deeply. In 1954, Robert married Marilyn Rosenberger, and they had one daughter, Karen. However, the marriage quickly fell apart in 1959 when Reed confessed to Marilyn that he was gay. This broken marriage was his first shock, but also a liberation. Still, it didn't mean he could live freely, as the 60s weren't kind to the LGBTQ+ community in Hollywood. Reed knew that being open could end his career for good. So he chose to live in the shadows, burying the truth while continuing his role as the ideal father on screen. However, a rumor followed his passing. By the late 80s, it was believed he had a secret affair with a young, famous but rebellious actor. Rumor had it that Reed was pulled into a life of decadence, attending secret parties where he allegedly contracted HIV from a shadowy relationship. Some say Reed and this lover were once seen in a Los Angeles apartment where police had to intervene after neighbors reported shouting and loud noises. By late 1991, he was diagnosed with colon cancer, a disease that had severely weakened him. At the same time, tests revealed Reed was HIV positive, a shock not only to him, but to those closest to him. On May 12, 1992, Robert Reed passed away at age 59 at Huntington Memorial Hospital in Pasadena. Although his death certificate listed colon cancer as the primary cause, his family insisted that HIV/AIDS complications hastened his death. 4. Rock Hudson. Unlike the mature fatherly figure of America's dad, Robert Reed, Rock Hudson was one of Hollywood's most alluring men, a true icon of romance and charm. But he held a shocking secret that the world was unprepared for. Born in 1925 in Winnetka, Illinois, Hudson, originally named Harold Scherer Jr., stood at 6'5", with striking good looks, a muscular build, and a natural magnetism that seemed tailor-made for the silver screen. From a small-town boy, Hudson stepped into Hollywood and quickly rose to king status with major hits like Magnificent Obsession and All That Heaven Allows during the 1950s. His career peaked in 1956 with an Oscar nomination for his role in Giant, starring alongside Elizabeth Taylor and James Dean. However, behind this idealized image lay a dark secret. During an era when homosexuality was heavily stigmatized, Hudson couldn't reveal his true sexuality. To protect his public image, in 1955, he married Phyllis Gates, a marriage orchestrated by his manager to dispel rumors. But the wedding was just a facade, and the marriage ended after only 3 years. To the public, Hudson presented himself as the perfect man, but in Hollywood circles, the secret of his personal life was an open one. His lavish pool parties at his Beverly Hills mansion became legendary within the LGBTQ+ community, where he could truly be himself. But everything changed in 1984 when he was diagnosed with AIDS, then a mysterious and terrifying illness. Hudson kept the diagnosis private, but his health visibly deteriorated. By July 1985, his gaunt appearance at a promotional event for the TV series Dynasty fueled public speculation. Just a few weeks later, on July 25th, Hudson's agent confirmed he had AIDS, a revelation that shocked the entire world. Rock Hudson became the first major celebrity to publicly acknowledge having the disease, sending waves of shock across America. Yet there was an even more shocking rumor. Some guests who attended his parties claimed Hudson had hosted wild gatherings where dangerous behaviors occurred. It was rumored that it was at one of these parties that Hudson contracted HIV. There was even talk that police had once been called due to noise complaints and signs of violence. While these rumors remain unconfirmed, the only undeniable truth is that Hudson passed away on October 2, 1985, at age 59. 5. Sylvester James. Moving away from the world of actors, we enter the world of a true queen of disco from the 1970s, Sylvester James. With a powerful voice and a unique performance style, Sylvester was not only a musical phenomenon but also a strong symbol for the LGBTQ+ community. His iconic song, "You Make Me Feel Mighty Real," became a hit that lit up the dance floor, making people lose themselves in the pulsating disco beat. Yet few knew that behind the stage lights lay a story filled with pain and loss. Born in Los Angeles in 1947, Sylvester grew up in a turbulent family environment. From an early age, he faced pressures because of his uniqueness. In the 60s, in a society filled with prejudice, being an openly gay black man was unthinkable. But Sylvester dared to live authentically. He left his hometown and quickly joined the music group The Disquotés in the late 60s, where he began living the life he wanted, free, bold, and vibrant. But in the 80s, just as disco fever was sweeping the world with Sylvester as one of its brightest stars, he was suddenly diagnosed with AIDS, a mysterious and deadly disease. News of his health shook his fans. In July 1988, Sylvester was diagnosed with serious complications of AIDS, and his health declined each day. Knowing the disease would soon take his life, he still chose to perform one last time at an AIDS benefit. That night, he took the microphone, singing with all his heart and soul. But there was one shocking rumor that still lingers. Whispers circulated that Sylvester hadn't contracted HIV by accident, but had been infected at an extravagant party at a music mogul's home. These secret gatherings allegedly drew top stars where dangerous behaviors were encouraged. Rumor has it that Sylvester was pressured into unwholesome acts at that event, leading to his illness. While the story remains unverified, it adds to the public's sense of heartbreak and loss over him. On December 16, 1988, at age 41, Sylvester passed away, leaving a vast void in the music world and the hearts of his fans. His death changed society's perception of AIDS, creating a timeless legacy in music. 6. Pedro Zamora. Now, let's meet a name that made history in reality television and left an unforgettable mark in the fight against HIV/AIDS, Pedro Zamora. Born in Cuba in 1972, Pedro was a courageous child who overcame obstacles when he immigrated to the U.S. with his family at 8 years old. Growing up in the Cuban community of Miami, Pedro received acceptance and support from his family, even as he openly embraced his sexuality. But then, in a fateful moment in 1989, at 17, Pedro learned he was HIV positive. This shocking news didn't defeat Pedro. Instead, it drove him to embark on a mission to change the world. From that moment on, Pedro dedicated himself to sharing his story. He traveled to schools and community centers, spreading strong messages about HIV/AIDS. His openness and sincerity shattered societal stigma and fear around the disease. Pedro's story began touching millions of hearts, but the turning point came in 1994, when he was invited to join MTV's reality show, The Real World, San Francisco. He wasn't just a TV star, he was a pioneer, bringing his story to millions of Americans in their living rooms. In one memorable episode, Pedro held a commitment ceremony with his partner, Sean Sasser. This was the first time many viewers had seen a gay commitment ceremony on television, a historic moment that broadened an entire generation's understanding of love and acceptance. But tragedy struck as Pedro's health worsened. During the filming, he began showing signs of a rare infection called progressive multifocal leukoencephalopathy, a disease that often appears in those with severely compromised immune systems. Rumors started circulating that Pedro wasn't just HIV positive from earlier, but had been targeted by a group that intentionally infected him. Some even claimed Pedro was the victim of a conspiracy to silence his message about HIV/AIDS. Although this theory is hard to believe, it has turned Pedro into an enduring, tragic figure in the public's memory. On November 11, 1994, as the final episode of the Real World season featuring Pedro aired, he passed away at just 22. His death was a profound loss, but also a powerful call to action in the fight against AIDS. President Bill Clinton praised Pedro, saying he showed America that AIDS isn't just a disease, it has a face, a heart, and a soul in people like Pedro Zamora. 7. Keith Haring. In the world of artists, it's not just singers and actors who leave their mark, but also painters. Among today's influential names, we can't overlook the iconic figure of Keith Haring. He was not just an artist, he was a cultural symbol, someone who turned art into a weapon for advocacy and recognition. Born in Reading, Pennsylvania in 1958, Haring was a sensitive soul. Even as a child, he understood the power of imagery, which ultimately led him into the vibrant world of New York street art in the 1980s. Haring began drawing with white chalk on empty advertising panels in subway stations, transforming dark, empty spaces into lively art galleries that captured the city's attention. With his distinctive style, bold lines and bright colors, Haring's dancing figures became a pop art icon. But beneath the vivid works lay a soul in struggle. Haring didn't create for mere entertainment, he created to convey messages. His works often depicted same-sex couples and unapologetically criticized discrimination and prejudice in society. He knew that art could be the voice for the voiceless, and he used that power to champion LGBTQ+ rights. Then, in 1987, Haring received devastating news. He had contracted HIV. Rather than succumbing to despair, he chose to fight. He threw himself into his art with newfound energy. In 1989, Haring established the Keith Haring Foundation, an organization aimed at funding AIDS programs and helping children. His art became more than just expression. It became a tool for raising awareness about AIDS. But Haring's life wasn't just about achievements and activism. A shocking rumor circulated among the artist community. Some believed Haring had contracted HIV at an extravagant Manhattan party, where many celebrities were allegedly engaging in public sexual acts. Although this was never verified, the rumor stirred significant chatter, leading people to question his lifestyle choices. Did Haring risk too much in pursuit of his freedom? Ultimately, in 1990, at age 31, Keith Haring passed away, leaving an indelible legacy. He transformed his paintings into powerful symbols of love, unity, and the fight against HIV/AIDS. From New York's walls to major art exhibitions worldwide, Haring's influence endures. Remember, When you stand before a herring piece, you're not just seeing colors and figures, you're feeling the pain, hope, and relentless battle of a brave artist. 8. Denholm Elliott. Back in the realm of Hollywood, the next star worth mentioning is Denholm Elliott. Although Elliott isn't the most prominent name among Hollywood stars, his face is unmistakable. He's the one who brought countless unforgettable characters to the screen. Born in London in 1922, Elliott led a fascinating life and career. He served in the Royal Air Force during World War II and spent 3 years as a prisoner of war, yet these hardships didn't break his spirit. After escaping captivity, Elliott found his passion on stage and screen. With over 125 films and TV shows throughout his 4-decade-long career, Elliott became one of Britain's most reliable character actors. His memorable roles include Marcus Brody in the Indiana Jones series, Coleman in Trading Places, and Mr. Emerson in A Room with a View. He had a unique ability to turn small moments into memorable highlights with just an eyebrow raise or a timely mutter. But Elliott's personal life held many mysteries. He married twice and had 2 children, but there were also whispers about his sexuality. Known as a man of secrets, Elliott kept the truth about being bisexual hidden until the end of his life. In 1987, at age 65, he received a devastating diagnosis, HIV. Rather than let the illness define his life, Elliott continued acting with passion and dedication. In his final years, he appeared in several films and TV shows, including Noble House and Toy Soldiers. His last on-screen appearance was in Noises Off in 1992. Yet behind his cheerful exterior, he was waging a hard-fought battle. The months of struggling with HIV gradually took their toll on his health. Then, on October 6, 1992, Denholm Elliott passed away at his home on the island of Ibiza, succumbing to AIDS-related tuberculosis at just 70 years old. News of his death shook the British film community. Tributes from friends and fans poured in, recognizing his contributions to British cinema. BAFTA even honored him by naming an award for promising young actors, the Denholm Elliott Award, ensuring that his legacy lives on in the minds of future generations of actors. But a shocking rumor surfaced after his death. Some claimed Elliott had contracted HIV at an elite artist party in London, where he was allegedly swept into the arms of a mysterious yet famous star. They say that night wasn't just a party, it was a raucous affair where celebrities freely expressed themselves, though at great risk. Though no one knows the truth, this story added to Elliott's enigmatic image. 9. Liberace. Next on this list is the renowned pianist Liberace, a symbol of extravagance and glamour, whose life story extends beyond the glitz. Born in 1919 in West Allis, Wisconsin, to Italian and Polish immigrant parents, he displayed remarkable musical talent from a young age. By just 4 years old, he could play by ear, quickly becoming an exceptional performer, surpassing even older conductors. The 1950s marked a major turning point for Liberace. His TV show, The Liberace Show, brought him into the hearts of millions with dazzling performances, sparkling costumes, candles on the piano, and an irresistibly theatrical style. He proudly declared, "I don't just give concerts, I create a show." Yet despite his flamboyant style, Liberace steadfastly denied being gay. When rumors circulated in tabloids, he didn't hesitate to take legal action. In 1956, he won a lawsuit against the British newspaper Daily Mirror for implying he was gay, and even swore in court that he had never engaged in any homosexual activity. But the reality was quite different. In private, Liberace shared his life with Scott Thorson, his driver and lover, for 5 years. Their relationship ended bitterly when Thorson sued Liberace for $113 million in 1982. The case settled out of court for $95,000, but emotional scars remained. As the AIDS crisis hit in the 1980s, Liberace's health declined severely. Yet he refused to admit any connection to the disease, even claiming he was on a watermelon diet. His appearance grew gaunt and frail, but pride wouldn't let him confront the reality. On November 2, 1986, Liberace held his final performance at Radio City Music Hall in New York. Just a few months later, on February 4, 1987, he passed away at his Palm Springs home. Initially, his doctor cited heart failure as the cause of death, but the truth couldn't stay hidden forever. After an autopsy, the coroner confirmed Liberace had died from AIDS-related pneumonia. Yet the shock didn't end there. A rumor surfaced after his death. Some said Liberace had attended a secret Hollywood party where his sexuality was revealed before his passing. During the event, a close friend reportedly revealed that Liberace had paid a hefty sum to a journalist to keep his sexuality a secret. These intriguing stories stunned fans, but to this day, no definitive answers have emerged. 10. Brad Davis. The next star I want to mention is likely someone familiar to many audiences, Brad Davis, a legendary name in Hollywood cinema who lived a life full of tragedy that most people only know through his on-screen roles. Born in 1949 in Tallahassee, Florida, his life was shaped by hardships from an early age. His father struggled with alcoholism, his parents divorced, and these challenges molded him into a sensitive yet resilient person. As a teenager, Davis found his calling in acting and moved to New York to study at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. In 1978, his role as Billy Hayes in Midnight Express catapulted him to stardom. Davis's intense and authentic performance left audiences in awe, earning him a Golden Globe for the role. But behind the spotlight, he was battling inner demons in his personal life. Davis became an icon known for portraying complex and controversial characters, from a soldier exploring his sexual identity in The Runners to even bolder roles. Though married to Susan Blinn and father to a daughter, rumors about his sexuality persisted. Friends and family dismissed them, insisting it was all just acting. Yet within him, a fierce internal struggle raged. Davis wrestled with addiction, a battle that perhaps contributed to him contracting HIV. In 1985, when AIDS was still a widely misunderstood and stigmatized illness, he received the diagnosis that many kept hidden. For the next 6 years, he lived with the disease, confiding only in close friends and family. Despite his suffering, he continued to work, appearing in TV shows and films, experimenting with treatments along the way. The clash between fame and a devastating illness left Davis exhausted. On September 8, 1991, at the age of 41, he ended his life in a controversial suicide. His wife, Susan, revealed that he chose this path to spare his family the agony of watching his decline and to avoid the social stigma surrounding his condition at the time. Shockingly, rumors about his death lingered. Some say that before he died, Davis confided in a renowned journalist, revealing he had paid a doctor to keep his diagnosis confidential. This led to suspicions that he fought not only his illness, but also a prejudiced healthcare system. After his passing, Susan published After Midnight, The Life and Death of Brad Davis, shedding light on his tragic life. Brad Davis was more than just a movie star. He was a man who bore the weight of societal and personal pressures. His fight with AIDS ignited crucial conversations on public health and stigma, and today, his story resonates, making us reflect on what he endured. 11. Howard Rollins. Next, we can't overlook Howard Rollins, a name tied to many acclaimed films yet marked by a life no less tragic. Born on October 17, 1950, in Baltimore, Maryland, Rollins grew up in a poor yet loving family. From an early age, he showed a natural talent for acting. In 1972, he graduated from the Academy of Art and launched a promising career. In 1988, Howard Rollins shot to fame as Virgil Tibbs in the television series In the Heat of the Night. His presence not only gave the show a new appeal, but also opened doors for black actors in the industry. Rollins' natural and emotional performance earned him recognition, and soon he became a symbol of resilience and determination. However, behind the glamour lay a silent battle few knew about. In 1986, Rollins was diagnosed with HIV, but chose to keep it private, a challenging decision in an era rife with stigma against the disease. He continued acting, but his health soon began to deteriorate as HIV complications took a toll. Though he hid his condition from the public, his pain and fatigue grew increasingly severe. Many fans who admired him were unaware that while they saw a talented actor on screen, Rollins was silently grappling with this deadly disease. A shocking rumor even suggested he secretly married a famous producer to secure financial and medical support during his hard times. Despite his suffering, Rollins remained dedicated to his craft, leaving behind an impactful legacy. Howard Rollins passed away on December 8, 1996, at just 46 years old. News of his death sent shockwaves not only through Hollywood, but also across the community. When people learned of his years-long battle with HIV, the respect and sympathy for him only deepened. His ex-wife later shared that he had written numerous letters to close friends, expressing his fears about how others would view him if they knew about his condition. Rollins' story isn't just one of talent and success, it's a lesson in the suffering that those with illness often endure. Though they live in the shadows, their talent and character continue to shine in the hearts of fans. Today, Howard Rollins remains an inspiration for those who dare to fight, and his story will continue to resonate in discussions on health and acceptance. 12. Paul Shenar. If Howard Rollins captivated audiences with his nuanced and deeply emotional acting style, Paul Shenar drew them in with his steely gaze and sharp intensity, embodying power and danger on screen. Shenar, a talented actor best known for his role in Scarface, was born in 1936 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. More than just a film star, he was a captivating stage artist. He co-founded the American Conservatory Theater in San Francisco, where he honed his skills and quickly became a familiar face on stage with his profound roles. From the start, Shenar attracted attention with his deep voice and mesmerizing gaze. He swiftly transitioned from theater to film, delivering unforgettable performances as both villains and heroes, holding audiences captive. His most iconic role was in Scarface, where he flawlessly portrayed the cunning and powerful character, leaving an indelible mark on fans. Behind his illustrious career, however, was a private life shrouded in mystery. Although Shenar kept his personal life discreet, rumors circulated of a secret 5-year relationship with Jeremy Brett, an actor famous for playing Sherlock Holmes. This relationship, if true, remained hidden, much like the reality for many gay actors in the 70s and 80s. But there was more. Another rumor shocked the public, claiming that Shenar was part of a covert organization for gay artists who supported one another's careers while living in fear of exposure. The strong, confident man seen on screen sharply contrasted with the anxieties he may have faced in private. In 1989, at the height of his career, Shenar faced a brutal enemy, AIDS. Though he never publicly disclosed his condition, he continued working on film and TV projects until his final days. At that time, little was known about the disease, and the stigma surrounding it forced many to endure in silence. Paul Shenar's life ended in October 1989 at age 53 due to AIDS-related complications. His death was a tremendous loss not only to the film industry, but also as a lesson in the power of love and acceptance. The legacy he left behind isn't just about remarkable roles, but also the hidden battles many gay artists faced. Remember that behind each bright name on the screen, there may lie a story of unseen pain and courage. 13. Michael Jeter. If Paul Shenar's life left us with powerful, complex images of a man of power with a mysterious past, Michael Jeter brings us a different story, one that's both tragic and touching. Michael Jeter was one of Hollywood's most talented actors, someone you might have overlooked without realizing what he brought to the screen. Known for his unforgettable roles in The Green Mile and Sesame Street, Michael won the hearts of audiences with his talent and authenticity. But behind the bright lights, a darker story waited to be told. Born on August 26, 1952, in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee, Michael began his artistic journey early on. He attended the San Francisco Art Institute, where he honed his acting skills and quickly made his mark in the arts community. In 1999, Michael received a Primetime Emmy Award for his performance in The Life and Times of Captain John Smith. But these successes couldn't hide the battles he faced in real life. From 1980, as his career began to take off, Michael was confronted with another battle: HIV. Diagnosed in the mid-1980s, at a time when the disease was heavily stigmatized, he kept his health condition private, sharing it only with those closest to him. Many people were unaware that even when he appeared on screen, Michael was dealing with the pain and effects of his illness, with loneliness overshadowing the audience's laughter. Rumor has it that during the years he fought his illness, Michael joined a support group where gay artists supported each other. They found not only comfort, but also shared ways to cope with the disease. Whether true or not, this rumor highlights the stigma that drove the gay community into the shadows of isolation. His close friends knew that behind his bright stage smile were long nights filled with silent tears, where he wrestled with unspeakable pain. By 2003, when Michael was 50, his illness had started to take a heavy toll on his health. Despite his efforts to keep working and maintain his career, Michael Jeter passed away on March 30, 2003, leaving a profound void in the hearts of fans and those who loved him. His death was not just the loss of a great talent, but a wake-up call about the battles many other artists are silently fighting. Michael Jeter lived his life with all the passion, bravery, and fear that he had, and his legacy lives on in the hearts of those who once adored him. 14. Ed Koch. And while Jeter fought his battles privately, Ed Koch, another figure, fought in the public eye as he led a city facing an epidemic and crisis. The life of Ed Koch, former mayor of New York, is a remarkable journey filled with light and darkness. Born in 1924 in the Bronx, Koch became a memorable figure in the city, holding office from 1978 to 1989. He was known for asking, "How am I doing?" But over time, it became more than a catchphrase. It was a reminder of both his successes and failures as a leader. After serving in W2 and becoming a lawyer, Koch entered politics. He had a remarkable political career, though not without challenges. When he took office, New York was grappling with financial crises, rising crime, and urban decay. Many praised him for reviving the city from the brink of bankruptcy, but soon after, another storm hit: the AIDS epidemic. When AIDS began devastating the gay community in the early 1980s, Koch faced heavy criticism for his slow response. Larry Kramer, a prominent activist, didn't hesitate to label him a bad man who let gay people die. This criticism intensified as rumors swirled about Koch's own sexuality. He never came out publicly, leading some to question if his silence contributed to his hesitation in addressing the AIDS crisis. A sensational rumor emerged. Some claimed that Koch had a secret romantic relationship with a prominent HIV/AIDS activist, but it was kept under wraps. If true, it would have shocked the public at the time and possibly explained his reluctance to support AIDS prevention efforts more decisively. Koch faced pressure from both the community and the media, but his silence left his supporters and critics alike feeling disappointed. Koch's life wasn't all failures, though. He implemented groundbreaking policies, including banning discrimination against gays in employment and housing. While his relationship with the LGBT community was complicated, he admitted regretting not doing enough in the fight against AIDS, but he also took pride in increasing funding for AIDS research and care. Koch passed away on February 1, 2013, leaving a complex legacy full of contradictions. He was a beloved yet controversial figure, a leader with significant influence who also bore untold pain. Questions about his role in the AIDS crisis and his true self remain unanswered. Though he's gone, Ed Koch's shadow lingers, prompting reflection on what he did, what he failed to do, and how we view leaders during challenging times. 15. Max Robinson. While Coke left a legacy of controversial policies with far-reaching effects, the story of Max Robinson opens another perspective of individuals who fought not just for themselves, but for the justice and voice of a community. Have you ever heard of Max Robinson, a talented journalist who broke new ground for future generations while privately fighting a painful secret? Born in 1939 in Richmond, Virginia, Max was not just a black man in a largely white world, but also a pioneer in broadcast journalism. In 1978, he became the first black journalist to anchor a national evening news program in the U.S., a historic milestone that no one could forget. But behind the stage lights and fame lay a battle few knew about. Max faced a deteriorating health condition. In the mid-1980s, he was diagnosed with HIV. This was not just a personal shock, but also a blow to the community. At that time, HIV/AIDS was not only a disease, it was a death sentence and a mark of stigma and fear. Max couldn't publicly disclose his condition because of the stigma and prejudice he'd experienced throughout his career. In 1988, Max Robinson passed away at the age of 49, leaving a complex legacy. Rumors began to circulate, one suggesting that he had been silenced to hide his health condition. Sounds far-fetched, doesn't it? But in a society full of prejudice, truth can be distorted. Some speculated Max might have disclosed details about HIV/AIDS that those in power wanted to keep hidden, especially regarding how the media handled the disease. Max's image as a courageous and resilient journalist touched many hearts, but he was also a victim of a society unready to accept the truth. Max's life is a story not only of success, but of hidden pain. He fought to survive in a world of prejudice and discrimination. When he passed on December 20th, 1988, America lost an outstanding journalist, but his sacrifice can never be forgotten. He paved the way for many black journalists, opening doors that once belonged only to white people. Max Robinson, a symbol of courage, lived a life that few could fully comprehend. He was not just a journalist, he was a fighter for truth, for himself, and for people like him. His life will always inspire those who dare to stand up against injustice. His message endures, urging us to continue the fight against stigma, because every life deserves respect and love. In the recent video, we reflected on the glorious years and the painful days of 15 of the gay celebrities who died of AIDS. The lives of 15 more individuals will be shared in part 2 of this series, so stay tuned for the next video. Thank you for watching, and please take a moment to remember these stars who left us far too soon.